NBC Sports Radio, NBCSportsRadio.com. The mobile app is yours free. The Google Play Store. You can also get involved in on-demand or podcasting. You can have it sent things straight to your email if you want. Appreciate it. Jim Daniels with you for Speaking of Sports, and time for us to bring in the professor. We talk the business and marketing issues when it comes to sports with Rick Horrow. He joins us now, and I guess the first thing I want to ask you, since we're now just down to one last game in March Madness, do you have any teams still alive for the championship game?
Yeah, Duke. Oh.
No, your daughter goes to Duke. I know that. No, never mind.
Yeah, no, you know what? I was there last night, which was I'm not sure what's worse is to get eliminated in Sweet 16 or play like Oklahoma did last night. That's a kind of an issue as far as legacy is concerned. I'm getting on a plane to go to Indy for the Connecticut iconic women's Final Four, and then the Masters. So it's a big 5 days.
The Masters, boy, we could talk about that one all day long, too. But let's start with the Horrow Sports Brief, which is talking about sometimes sports are more than just a game. You talk about the fact that President Obama and Cuban President Raul Castro sitting next to each other watching the Rays and the Cuban national team play. Are we going to see more of this, and I mean a lot more of this?
Yeah, a lot more of this. And the bottom line of all of it now is the hard part really starts. You know, season opens, we take some of the attention off of that for a little while. But then the Cuban Federation and Major League Baseball's international guys, to be sure, are talking about how to make a deal, a comprehensive one. Player exchange, minor league team maybe, spring training on a regular basis, regular season games, and it's possible even to talk about big league down the road. The Cuban infrastructure is not ready for it, and Miamians still can't believe that's happening, but they'll have to get over it commercially. So it's the beginning of a long process.
Let's move to the NFL because the owners had their meeting, and one of the owners, Jerry Jones, this is a guy that's not bashful about his opinion on any level, but his comments last week at the owners' meeting about disavowing the link between football and CTE really made headlines quickly. I mean, this is something that everyone, at least is supposed to on the outside, supposed to show major concern. I'm actually a little bit surprised, no, I'm a lot surprised at Jerry Jones and his quote saying when asked about is there enough data to establish a connection between CTE and playing football, he replied flatly, no, that's absurd. And then Jets Woody Johnson also jumped in and said, whether I agree with the statement made by a senior vice president of health and safety for NFL football, Jeff Miller, whether I agree with that or not, I'll leave that to the neurologist. Isn't this a bad look for both of these guys?
Well, probably a better look for Woody Johnson, to be honest about it, because his context was, I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. We've
got to stay one step ahead of the scientists. We'll pay the scientists, and whatever the scientists tell us, we've got to figure out if it's the right group of scientists. So, it's a firestorm, and it's certainly not a firestorm about nothing. It's how do you negotiate the next deal? The settlement has already been done on the concussion lawsuits, the core of them. More suits are filed regularly. And the real issue is, how do you make sure that everybody understands that they're all on the same page of getting out ahead of the science at the same time of it and not covering up? And whether it's the right thing to do or whether it's the money or whether it's the fact that you better do it or the lawyers will be all over you, I think the NFL has seen a sea change over the last couple of years, and they're moving forward on this stuff.
All right, let's stay with the NFL and bad news for old school Ram fans. Apparently, a lot of old school Ram fans would like to see the Rams go back to their original blue and white colors. However, the time for change has passed, according to those in the know at the NFL office. So it'll be no new colors for the Rams, not only not this year, but not even next year either, right?
Well, but the year after, certainly. It's not those only, the old school purists. It's the people with any sensibility about that gold and blue and they're great colors, but not on the same day or in the same uniform. And so, the bottom line of all of this is that the NFL has a long process. It's logo development. It's merchandise. All the partners are in it to win it themselves in the same group. And so part of the issue is if you have the stadium logo on it, is it the Rams and Raiders, Rams and Chargers? So it's all tied into the bigger issue. And for the Rams fans who are the old traditionalists, just be happy you got the team back.
All right, Rick Horrow is our guest. We talk the business of sports with the professor every week at this time. And you mentioned that you're on your way to the women's final. UConn, apparently UConn, I should say, according to the Associated Press, the numbers for the NCAA women's basketball tournament continue to go down. I think one of the reasons why it goes down is because UConn is too good. I've seen a number of stories over the past week or so talking about the fact that it's because it's not competitive, because they always win, because it's always blowouts. Some of their games this year were absolutely ridiculous. When you look at some of the scores, you think, wait a minute, that's a typo. That can't be right. UConn being too good, is that a problem?
Well, there is parity in women's basketball. It's UConn and then everybody else. And so listen, the first few rounds, when you look at the overall numbers, the UConn games themselves are up in the 46% or so increase. So people want to tune in early and see maybe the best athletic team of all time. That is somewhat important. Breanna Stewart winning 4 MVPs in a row may happen, might happen, probably happen. Team winning 4 national championships in a row undefeated. But then when you win by 52 and 51 in the first and second round, you got some issues with that. And so how do you change the way you can't? Because everybody admires excellence. And the bottom line is Gino Auriemma and the team is excellent. I decided to go. It's not on the way to the Masters, but it's only like half inch on the map. Depends on how big the map is. And the reason I'm going is because I really wanted to see excellence, honestly. I want to test the business of women's sports. But I'm a believer in at least a couple of games a year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you know what? And there's nothing wrong with excellence. I saw Gino being interviewed earlier in the week talking about the fact that I've never even heard of having to defend being too good before, which is kind of a head scratcher. But staying with college athletics, looks like the college, or I should say the collegiate conference television networks, these things are supposed to help supply some substantive revenue, yet you've got some people that are upset about this, like Oklahoma State University football coach Mike Gundy, who lashed out at UT for the Longhorn Network. Look, is it time to just level the playing field? Should every one of these big D1 programs have their own network?
Well, or they have the conferences do it, because the networks are only as good as the scheduling amongst the conferences. David Boren, the University of Oklahoma president, who's likely licking his wounds from last night about another issue, but he said that if Texas doesn't fold the Longhorn Network in a number of years, Oklahoma may move to the Pac-12 or SEC. It's not a threat. It's economic reality. So most of these conference networks are done because they want to increase awareness and they want to increase revenue and level the playing field because they distribute the revenue equally. But if the Longhorns are making $15, $20 million more a year than everybody else, then it's time to do something about it.
All right, let's get to the UFC, actually, a landslide vote in the New York State Assembly legalizing mixed martial arts. I mean, well, okay, gosh, out of time. I never have enough time with you. One of these days, when you're out here on the West Coast, you're going to have to do the whole show with me.
I'll do the whole show with you anytime, and have a really, really good week. We'll talk Masters next week.
That sounds great. Looking forward to it. The Professor, Rick Horrow, thanks once again for joining us on NBC Sports Radio. Boy, my time flies when I talk to him. Coming up next, you're going to like this one, baseball fans. Jonathan Hawk's got a movie out called Fastball. You hear about it next.